What's going on, guys? My name is Blue, and this will be my guide for specifically early bag neutral and early bag true Pacifist ending in Undertale Yellow. Before we get into the actual talking about it, we need to discuss what early bag even is, to a degree. For those who are unaware, the bag is an item in the game which usually is just a bag that lets you hold an infinite amount of stuff. But the bag can be used majorly to skip cutscenes, to give you items that you shouldn't have, and so on and so forth. It's essentially this game's version of the punch card if you're aware of standard Undertale. And what early bag does is, instead of getting the bag where you're supposed to at the end of El Balador's fight, you get at the start of the game. Hence the name early bag. You would think with early bag that it would be not too dissimilar from standard standard neutral and standard TPE, but it's actually very different, at least for the first half. The part where the early bag comes in is very different from how you would play casually or on a neutral TPE speedrun. And there wasn't really a guide for it on speedrun.com, so I want to make a little guide to show you guys the potential, the power of early bag, and why I love this category so much. A few things I want to say before I do get into the guide. You can see by the top right here, I am using debug mode. Debug mode is not allowed to be used in a speedrun. Its only purpose is for practice. If you want to find the debug mode data.win, you can find it in the speedrun.com resources tab, which again will all be linked in the description below. So yeah, for the sake of getting this guide as smooth as possible, I'm going to use debug mode to showcase off the skip. Also, this guide is going to assume that you have ran neutral or ran TPE. If you're looking to run early bag neutral or early bag TPE, before you think about doing it, go speedrun, neutral, and TPE first. Once you have your core knowledge of those two categories, then come back to this video and we can actually learn early bag together. Please do not be like me, who decided to run EBTPE before doing their first TPE run, because I struggled. I really struggled, because I wasn't aware of how TPE works yet. Also, as for Geno, or Genocide, there is an early bag Geno run, but I'm not going to be covering it today. Maybe for two reasons. One, I'm not good at the category. I'm not good at Geno to begin with, and I'm still kind of working on my Geno to begin with. So, I didn't think it would be right me covering early bag Geno. And also, early bag Geno no Zenith Warp, which is another category that recently came out. And also, two, I want to give that category's guide to somebody else who is more better at Geno, more better at explaining how Geno works than me. Someone maybe like Astra or Madonna, etc, etc. So we will not be covering the Geno portion of early bag in this video and or Geno. And yeah, with that being said, let's get to what you actually need for the speedrun. So what you will need for the speedrun, most importantly, is the early bag save. In a standard run, you're not allowed to mess around with your saves. You're meant to start in a 0 reset file, so that means completely fresh, no resets, nothing, 0 reset file. And you're not allowed to change your save states midway through a run. But early bag is special. You are allowed to put in the specific early bag save, which again is on the Speedrun Discord in the resources tab, link down below, into your run. Also, what you will need is the codes. Now, this only applies if you are running true Pacifist ending with early bag. Usually, with the 3 codes in Steamwork, they are randomized. They are randomized to start the run, and you can use fun events to try and find the codes, and then use a code searcher to get the 3 codes, plug them in, and then you're good to go. But the benefit of having an early bag save is that the fun events are already laid out, which, fun fact, the early bag save has the Chair Guy Saloon fun event. And because of that, the codes are always the same. So I'm going to write them in my Twitch chat so you guys can write them down. There are 3 codes if you're running TPE, which I will show off. 5755. The second code is 3424. And the final code is 9767. So if you plan to run TPE, write those 3 codes down, because they are always the same. And if even better, memorize them. They'll be better off for you. This guide is only going up to Steamworks, because Steamworks is identical to neutral and TPE, depending on what you do. There is only one difference in neutral in early bag neutral for the first half, and TPE. And that is killing Starlo. That is the only difference. If you kill Starlo, you're doing neutral. You're doing early bag neutral. If you spare Starlo, you're doing EB-TPE. And Steamworks is identical to neutral and TPE. So this guide is only going to get you to Steamworks, and then hopefully if you have run neutral TPE, you will know what to do from that. Let's get into the actual run. So bear in mind, usually when you start the run in neutral TPE, you have to wait 7 seconds before the run starts. Because you have a save in, you're just going to hit go and immediately hold right. So I'm not going to hit my timer, but for example, you would hit go and then immediately hit right like this. Like that. This is where the run will actually begin. There is a strategy that you can do with TPE and neutral, and I guess Geno to a degree, but I wouldn't be sure of that, called missing poster strats. For the sake of the guide, I am not going to be showing you missing poster strats. I will, for the sake of showing you guys why, be putting the missing poster in the bag, which you have to do if you're going to be doing missing poster strats. But missing poster is very inconsistent, and it's not very fun to do. As a person who runs this category, for somebody who's first learning early bag neutral, early bag TPE, do not do missing poster strats. If anything, if you do it optimally, it will save you 5 seconds. But that's if you do it optimally. Ideally, don't worry about missing poster, just keep holding right into the rim. And the start of Ruins is identical. So it's going to run through. All this is the same, so it's going to run through and not worry about it. So the reason why missing poster strats work, as you just saw, we put the missing poster in the bag. As you just saw. What this allows us to do, it allows us to keep the missing poster with us. Because usually after this cutscene, you will lose a missing poster. As shown by this cutscene by here. But because we put the missing poster in the bag, we now actually have the missing poster. I'll get into the missing poster strats more when I talk about setups. I won't be showing any of the missing poster skips. But I just want to show why missing poster strats are very unreliable. But for now, let's keep moving. And this is where, I'm going to save here, the very first skip is in the game. Fun fact, this skip is pretty much a big run killer right at the start of the run too. So if you're very new to this category, you're going to be here quite a lot. Get a minute in, fail the skip, and then restart because, you know, or just keep going. In a neutral TPE run, you have the option to do control and space at the same time, which does this. It's a really annoying noise, but you can use that to get past triggers. Usually in casual play, you just walk up, Fly will talk to you, and then you'll start a cutscene. In speedrunning, if you were doing neutral TPE, you can abuse this little thing here with the auto mash plus control to actually get past the cutscene. Which gives you some movement. It gives you some movement during the cutscene, which saves a tiny bit of time because you're not walking up as much. But in early bag, we can do one better. And the idea, which, again, is pretty hard to do, is you have to skip the cutscene with the trigger so you get movement. And then, as Flowey is popping up from the ground, you need to open your bag. Which is C, down, 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 Z. To open your bag. Whilst the cutscene is going on. So, in full, it looks like this. Just like that. Once you open the bag, you'll notice that Flowey's text is on top or underneath the bag. So now all you can do is close the bag and walk off. Bye, Flowey. And that cutscene, if you do that, it saves you 10 seconds. So it's a very, very valuable cutscene to skip. And again, there is a missing poster way of doing it, but I'm not going to be showing it. Once you skip that cutscene, walk up. You're going to run into your first flyer, just flee from it. We're going to be fleeing from every encounter. And the switch puzzles are identical, so just run through them. So in a bit, we're about to grab Lemonade. And the reason why we need Lemonade for the run is so we can do bag setups. And I'll give a brief little introduction to bag setups if you're not familiar. If you are familiar with neutral TPE, you should know what bag setups are. But just in case, I will show bag setups for a reason. So flee Panella and grab Lemonade. Fun fact, if you want to do this room optimally, you want to hold right, hold up right as you walk into the room. Hold auto masher and then hold down left, like this. So now I got lemonade. So now, chat, I'm gonna show off the core bag setup, and the bag setup is used a lot in this run. So I'm not gonna be explaining it more than this once. So write this down. This is how you do a bag setup. So, how you do a bag setup? Go into your menu, and here we go. Go to a droppable item. I'll explain the difference between a droppable item and a non-droppable item in a minute. But make sure you do this with a droppable item, because it's more consistent. That's the reason we picked up lemonade, because it's a droppable item. Go to lemonade, hit drop. It'll say, are you sure? Hit no, or sorry, move on right to no, and then you want to press Z and C on consecutive frames. And if you did it right, you'll notice that Clover is moving whilst the menu's open. Whilst Clover is moving with the menu open, you can actually move down to bag, and let's say if, I don't know, for reasons, this is a trigger. This is a cutscene trigger. You would just walk up, and as you're on the trigger, open your bag. And that allows you to skip cutscenes. So, like this. So then you close the bag and move on. I'll show it off again. Z, C, lemonade, or whatever non-droppable item. Hit drop. If you sure on lemonade, hit Z and C. On no, make sure you hit no. If you hit yes, you'll drop it. Like that. Move down to bag, and then bag and trigger. You've seen the bag setup slow down. So, I'll now show off the bag setup at full pace. Like that. That is how you do a bag setup. I'm not explaining bag setup anymore. So, for the rest of this guide, I'll be saying, do the bag setup, and there's a trigger. Now for the reason why missing poster is not good. Now, like I said, missing poster, if used optimally in Dark Ruins, can save 5 seconds. But, there is a drawback. Missing poster, if I do this, missing poster is a non-droppable item. And non-droppable items have a weird quirk. For some reason, when you try and do a Z and C press on a non-droppable item, it is possible, but it's finicky. It's very finicky. I believe that the timing for it is tighter, and also it's a different timing in general. So that's why you shouldn't be using non-droppable items for a bag. Because yeah, you may not be able to drop them, but they're a lot harder to actually get consistently, especially if you're doing quickly like this. As you can see, I'm really struggling to hit it quickly. So that's why we don't use missing poster. It's just very inconsistent for now. So now we've explained bag setups, we're against the first glitch of the game. I recommend, for new runners, safety saving a lot. Because this next skip is quite difficult. So here's Corn Maze. Usually in neutral and TPE, you would just run through Corn Maze, hope you'll get an extra encounter, and just hope you get a good time. But if you know this game well, you would know there's a scripted sweet corn encounter roughly around here. We're going to do a similar thing to we do in Greenhouse Skip. If you remember how Greenhouse Skip works, you bag a scripted encounter, and then you can get movement. Clover can get movement in the real world whilst in the battle menu. So we're going to do a similar thing here. And the idea is you want to do the bag setup, so again, just like before, like that. And then you want to do what's called an up bag, and up bags are rough. So the way I do up bags is you do this, go to lemonade, do bag setup, move down to bag, and then whilst you're holding up to run into the trigger, you want to press down once, like that. Which puts you on bag, ready for the skip. And this is where Corn Maze skip gets quite difficult because it's very easy to soft lock yourself. What do I mean by this? Well, let's just say, for example, you do this. Hold on. Do you want to back the trigger? There you go. Like that. And then you flee and then hold right a little bit. As you can see, if Clover's hitbox is in a wall, you can't move. You can't move and the run is dead. So at this point, you would either reset your save, or you would just restart the run because you soft locked. But there is an optimal way to get out of this room. And the way I time it is I base it off Sweet Corn's head bops. So, how I time it is this. When I hear the... You may notice that the actual transition to battle sound effect goes... K-k-bam! Like that. K-k-bam! I know, really, really stupid example, but you'll hear it. Watch. You hear the k-k-bam! When you hear the BAM noise, again, really silly, you want to close the bag and start holding upright. And then how you time it is, you'll notice Sweet Corn bopping up and down. It goes, I believe it goes up, down, up, I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check. Down, up, down. Yeah. So on the second bop down, you want to let go of up and right, go to flee, which is left Z, down Z, go to flee, and then continue holding upright. And that should place you in the top right corner, outside, out of bounds. If you do it too early, you'll soft lock. If you do it too late, you'll be way, way out. And I recommend, honestly, if you feel like you're not going to make it, go much more than you expect. Because it's better to be way, way out of bounds than be soft locked. So I'll show you guys right now. Bag setup. Just like that. Now. 1, 2. Hit flee, and upright. You'll be placed right here, as you can see.
Bag setup. Just like that. Now. 1, 2. Hit flee, and upright.
And then to get back, what you gotta do is hit right a little bit, and then hit down left. Like that. You'll run transition, and you get to go. Like I said, it is very easy to soft lock. Let's say I did this. Like that. That's soft lock, as you can see. I'm stuck in the wall. If you're a god gamer, you can actually line Clover up with the transition. But again, I recommend for new runners, if you're doing back steps like this, always overshoot. So you see, 1 head bop, 2 head bop, flee, and then around the corner like that. That's how I do Corn Maze Skip. It's very reliable. And after doing Corn Maze Skip, we've got another skip to do. So we're gonna run through this area. Now there is a chance you can get a natural time loss here, depending on your step count. Ideally, you don't want to get an encounter here. But if it happens, it happens. So we'll see. We got one. Okay. So if you get one, just flee it. But now, similar thing again. This is Rorim Skip. And Rorim Skip, the actual scripted Rorim is right here. As you can see, it's right here. Basically where the second pillar is. So, same thing again. We're going to do a back setup, and then you're going to bad trigger. And here's the thing. Usually, with what I just taught you in Corn Maze Skip, and what I taught you with Greenhouse, or what you know in Greenhouse, usually when you hear that noise, you close the bag and hold direction. For this case, don't hold direction, because there is a 1 in 11 chance that you can get a random encounter after bagging the cutscene. And if that happens, you're fucked, because you don't actually get the trick. Yeah, ideally, you're gonna bag the trigger. Once you hear the noise, just close the bag, flee, and then hold up left. It looks like this. And then you get out of bounds, and then you can go through here. And this cuts out literally all of the second half of Dark Ruins. Very, very huge skip. For shits and giggles, I'm gonna show off what happens if you get the 1 in 11. There it is. I got it first try. So yeah, if you move during that transition, you have a chance to get a random encounter after the scripted. And what that means is, you're fucked. Because you flee the encounter and you can't do the skip. So, to save yourself time, do not move when you're doing Rorim Skip. And that eliminates that whole issue. To save time now, I'm just going to quickly do the skip. There we are. So yeah, at this point, there is a corn dog right here. You don't have to pick it up, but if you are known for accidentally dropping an item when you're bagging, pick this up for safety. Just in case. Because you never know when you're gonna need it. And then you get this cutscene from here, which is quite funny. Alright, and then how you get out of this room, you just hold up, and you walk the door, and this is where I'm going to take a safety save. This safety save is very crucial, because we're now going to be doing 3 very daunting skips in a row, and they're all up bags. So, if you remember the up bag tutorial that I just showed you, keep that in mind, because we're now going to be doing 3 up bags in a row. If you're uncomfortable doing that, take this safety save. You're better off taking it than losing your entire run for a very first run. So, this is Delve Skip. Delve Skip sucks. I don't like Delve Skip. There are ways you can get around it, but the idea, which I'll show in fast motion real quick before I explain it, is you want to up bag the trigger and then walk out. Like that.
Like that.
And that skips Delve. Pretty self-explanatory. Also, Delve will teleport as a little funny sound effect of the glitch. There are different ways of lining this up. I can visually see where the trigger is. The trigger is here. It's around here. And the way that I use it, you can either use this plank right here on the top right. The only issue with using this method is that the menu obscures it. So you gotta try and get a feel for it. But it is possible. The more consistent way of doing it is with this plank over here. When this plank leaves the screen, then you hit it. You can be 1 frame off. It's essentially 1 frame after that plank leaves. Like that. So once you get it closer back, move up. And again, fun little fact chat. Because we skipped Delve here, the game is having a funny moment. This cutscene happens when you spare Delve, right? But because we left Delve in a weird state, it's gonna show the flowy cutscene for when you kill Delve. Don't worry, Delve is still alive, so if you're doing, like, TPE, it's not gonna fuck you over. But it's just a funny little side effect of this glitch. Now for the next bag. Next bag, similar idea, but this time, to avoid hitting down and going back in transition, we're going to hold left or right. I choose right. Do the bag setup. And this trick is pretty hard to time. So press down. You have to press up, down, Z on basically consecutive frames. It's kind of hard to time. Like that. And then you can close the bag and move up. And that's how you skip that cutscene. The last skip is the most important skip of early bag. This skip is the reason why Snowden and Dunes are a joke. They are laughable in this category. But, to make up for that, the visual cue sucks. And you kind of have to base it off feel. So, I will showcase where the trigger is. Let me save here. As you can see, I am now 1 frame away from the trigger. When you start seeing the white light, that you're 1 frame away. And the idea is you want to do the up bag like normal, but once you bag the trigger, press right, and then close the bag. Make sure you press right. So I'll showcase that off in full. Like that.
Like that.
You see Clover starting to walk off. And this puts Clover in a very, very weird state for Snowden. As you can see, Clover is sliding. It's still sliding along. Now, I'm going to hit M there so it turns it off. What that state is called auto walk. And auto walk is very broken. There's 2 things that auto walk allows us to do. So because the Clover is sliding, if we run, you notice that we're moving faster. This is because auto walk takes you're essentially auto walking and running at the same time. So it puts those 2 speeds together. So you're naturally running faster, which is really cool. But the main appeal of auto walk is that the auto walk can push you through collision. Which allows us to do some very funny skips. because of the whole auto-walking through everything. And yeah, I will be showcasing that off. Again, for Dark Ruins, make sure you save, because again, it's very possible you fuck up those 3 skips in a row, and make sure you practice them. They're very hard to do. So once you're eventually out of Dark Ruins, again, don't get me wrong, Dark Ruins is hell. Us EBTPE runners and EBN runners will all agree that Dark Ruins sucks. So, once you're out of Dark Ruins Purgatory, as we call it, you want to start moving through. Move through like you would in Snowden. Bear in mind, like I said, you're still a bit unstable right now. You can walk, as you can see, you can walk through collision. So, try not to get stuck in any walls. As you can see here, coming towards the first flowery cutscene, I'm going to save here. Also, fun fact, at this point of the run, you cannot save. Well, it's not that you cannot save, you can't reload your save. If you reload your save, well, in this case it didn't. But if you were to, let's say, I don't know, close the game, reload the save, it fixes the auto-walk state. So, from here onwards until the end of Dunes, you want to not save and or close the game or soft lock, because, you want to keep the auto-walk safe for as long as you can. Instead of just walking through the trigger, how about we just go right? Skip the trigger, and then walk through. Not a problem. And now we're going to get into, again, another bag encounter here. The trigger for the first Frost Emit is roughly around here. So, we're going to enter the room, hold down right for a little bit, open the bag, and bags are actually really easy in this run, because you don't have to do YOLO bags. You can just open the bag, wait for Clover to auto-walk across, and then close back normal. So I'll show you guys that in full motion real quick. And then flee, and then hold right. So yeah. That's how you do, like, mainly bag setups with auto-walk. This room we're coming up towards is a very funny room. For new runners, I recommend doing this, right? So we walk through. If you have a low step count, you're fucked. So ideally, when you get to the end of this room, we got lucky there with an encounter. When you get to the end of this room, don't move. Just don't move. You're better off. So, remember that 1 in 11 thing with encounters? Yeah. It can happen in this room, too. We'd run through the room, hope to God let's get an encounter, and then you hold up here. To skip this Marla cutscene. So you hold up to skip the Marla cutscene, and then walk through, and touch through that. Now, here is what happens if you get an encounter on the last possible chance. There it is. So if you get an encounter in the last frame, you actually move into the next room, and you can't move. And because you cannot move, it loads the Marla cutscene. And because of the Marla cutscene playing whilst they're moving, you're basically fucked. Because after this cutscene's over, the game crashes. So, yeah. That can happen. The game can crash. If you get an encounter on that frame. Which is not fun, considering the fact that you get out of Dark Ruins, and that can possibly happen. If you want to remove that issue, when you get to the end of the room, just stop moving. Like that. And this will guarantee you not getting soft-locked. It does waste time, and if you're more consistent at Dark Ruins, you're better off just running through the room. But just keep that in mind, that is a 1 in 11 chance. So yeah, we're gonna walk through here. Once you get up here, you're gonna walk through this room. And to the other side. And now Mo skip. I forget where the trigger is, but I like to time when you start seeing the coffee. So when you see the coffee on the table, again, same thing. Open bag, and then you'll see the trees start to move really quickly. Once that happens, as quick as you can, close the bag and hold up. The coffee table has no collision, so you can just walk straight through. But you want to quickly move before Mo starts talking. Because there'll be another skip we have to do in a little bit. And if Mo starts talking as you move through the cutscene, you can't open your menu. Otherwise, you soft lock. I'll show it off in full. Like that. See the trees move. Move. Like that. Now, I'll show you what happens if you don't move through the room quick enough. So if you don't move through the room quick enough, let's say like this. Well, that can happen first off. So yeah, if they move through the room quick enough, that can happen. But also now, if I hit C, I'm stuck. I can't move. Back trigger, and move as quick as you can out of it. So that would suck. It goes to the next skip, and you hit C, you soft lock. So be careful of that. For this next room, there are 2 ways you can go about it. They haven't got names, but I'll say it's my way and Madonna's way. Madonna is the world record holder for every that category. Madonna's way of doing this room is going left and just moving out of bounds all the way up like this. But I find personally that is faster, but you are very likely to get an encounter whilst you're out of bounds. So the way I do it instead, this is my version of it, is you just hold upright. You hold upright to go through the tree, and then you can just move through like this. Like that. You call on the tree, and then you can move like this. And this guarantees you not getting an encounter. And now we're coming towards the Mailwell skip. Mailwell skip, again, self-explanatory. You want to walk up. When you start to see the UGPS sign, open bag. And then you skip the cutscene. Move up, and then move out of the way. And then as for shufflers, thankfully, we haven't got to do them. Literally, all you have to do, hold up, start holding right, and then hug this wall. You'll just skip right past them. How beautiful was that? Onto Martlet Bridge. Now, usually in speedruns, you would hold left here to get the cycle. But we're not going to do the cycle because of auto walk. Instead, hold up right for a little bit. And skip the cutscene this way. For reference, make sure, when you're doing that skip, that you're actually high enough in the trees. There's a high possibility you don't go high enough, and the game will think you've fallen off the bridge. So I can quickly show that off for a little bit of a giggle. So I don't know, let's say if, I don't know, you do it from here. The game will think you've fallen out. When you're doing this skip, make sure you're high enough in the trees. If you're in the shadow of the trees, you are safe. You'll be fine. So, like here. You'll be okay if you get it from here. Walk the trigger and then hold down right. Alright, and now, for what we did with with Frostbit, we do the same thing with Trihactor here. The trigger is roughly around here. So it's going to walk up, bag, and then hopefully like that. Beautiful. Now chat, fun fact. Lava Rock Puzzle 2. You know, this puzzle, the one that we hate oh so much in speedruns. Yeah. You still have to do it legit. For some reason, this is the only room in Snowdin and in Dunes that doesn't have the auto walk state. So, we can't skip Lava Rock Puzzle 2. We are forced to do Lava Rock Puzzle 2. How ironic. The most inconsistent puzzle in this entire game, we have to do. We cannot skip it. And then go down, and then back up. And then the Martlet fight is identical. There is something I will show off if anyone's curious, alright? I get a lot of comments on this from people, like specifically new runners with Martlet. They always wonder, why can't we skip Martlet? You know? Like, why can't we skip Martlet? There is a reason, which I will show off. For the sake of time, I'm just gonna... Doink! Bye. You're thinking with early bag, you could skip Martlet. And you're technically correct, you can skip Martlet. But there's a consequence in the next room. I'm going to show you guys what happens if you choose to skip Martlet. You can either skip Martlet by going out of bounds and moving around, or you can bag the trigger. I'm going to bag the trigger for show you guys how that works. The trigger's roughly, if I move up, it's roughly around here. So we're going to move up, bag, and then skip. Now, yes, we have skip Martlet, but the thing is, Martlet is very crucial to the plot flag of the game. What Martlet does is that she sets the plot flag for if you are running Geno or neutral CPE. And because of this, we skipped Martlet's trigger, so therefore the game doesn't know what route we're on. So because of this, if we try and progress to the next area, it's going to try and load the Geno Flowey cutscene and the Martlet cutscene at the same time. So, regrettably, this crashes the game. Because it can't load 2 cutscenes at once. So that's why we can't skip Marla. Marla is very important to the story, because she says plot flags. We're gonna fight Marla the exact same. This isn't changed from neutral TPE. There's hopes to God for good RNG with Marlet's feathers. The only one real difference is that when you finish the fight, your character's gonna be in her sentry station. Instead of holding up right and then up left to get through, you just want to hold up. You naturally lose a bit of time because of that, but it's funny, so it's allowed. So here's the end of the fight. Hold up, because you'll get stuck in Marlet's sentry station. And now the plot flag is set, so we're doing neutral TPE. Something I should point out here too. M. Does that stop me in place? We'll see. Something to point out too. At this point in the run, after you skip Marlet's text here and get onto the raft, you want to open up another Undertale Yellow. So this is where you're going to actually be opening multiple games up, so you can have optimal time save. So I'll shut this off now. So you want to skip through this. And then, oop, I soft locked. What the fuck? Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on, chat. I gotta fix my save. Anyways, like I was saying. So, optimally, it looks like this. You walk through. Interact with Martlet. And then watch, we hit 2 dings like this. 1, 2. Open up Undertale Yellow again. And then keep an eye on the cutscene, because once you hear this noise, you hear a click back in and hit space. While this cutscene's going on, open up your Undertale Yellow, and get it ready to continue. So you may not be seeing what's going on my stream right now, but for the sake of time, or for the sake of you guys, I'll show it to you. As you can see, I had opened up a second Undertale Yellow right here. So while this was going on, I went out here, opened it up, got it set to right here, and now it's in the background. So you're going to hear some overlay music, but just keep that in mind. We're going to be keeping this game open all the way up until the end of Dunes. So once you've done that, hold on, Masha. And this way you get a nice break. You can kind of just go on your phone, or, I don't know, check your splits, check your chat, you know. You get a nice break here, it's quite nice. And now we're going to Dunes. Dunes is technically the final area of Early Bag. It isn't the final area of the run, because you still have to go through Steamworks and all that. But this is essentially the final area. When he loads this cutscene, Clover's going to warp down there, so hold down right. What the fuck? Okay. Okay, chat, ignore that. That was a Early Bag thing. What the fuck was that? Okay, my apologies, chat. That was a Early Bag quirk. I'm sorry. That wasn't early bag. That was a debug mode quirk that can happen sometimes. Just ignore that. I'm gonna have to refight Marla again. God damn it. I guess whilst I'm refighting Marla again because of the debug mode quirk, I can show you guys what the whole opening of the game looks like from my perspective as the speedrunner. I'll pull up display capture again so you guys can actually see what's going on behind the scenes. And yes, I have to refight Marla every time because of the plot flag. So this is what's going on behind the scenes, alright? So I walk up. Open Undertale Yellow. That. Other window. And then whole space. Sometimes, if the window takes forever to load, you're going to have to do some finicking between. But that's ideally what we want to do. That's what that looks like to me from my perspective. Right, we're going to try this again without that weird glitch. Because that was really silly. Again, that doesn't happen in a run. That is just a weird quirk with debug mod. I don't know why it thought to do that. We find weird quirks with debug mode all the time. So like I was going to say before that glitch happened, Clover is going to warp down here. So hold down and right. There you are. And walk through the room. This is the cool little skip we do in Early Bag. You can actually bag this cutscene trigger like you can with the auto-walk glitch. And this gives you some free movement. If I run through the room normally, like you would in Standard, you'll notice that Clover kind of waits for a little bit and then goes. Right? But if we actually bag the trigger, which by the way, the trigger is roughly here, I believe. So, walk up, back trigger. When you see Clover walking, close the trigger and hold right. Close back and hold right. You get movement immediately. So, that's a little time save right there. The first Dune Bird is going to run into him and flee. That. And another little fun fact. Like at the start of Snowden, there's a similar thing here at the start of Dunes. There is a 1 in 11 chance that you can get a semi-soft lock. Runs off the same boat as Snowden one. But instead of soft locking you, it's a semi-soft lock because you only lose time. Because thankfully, if it does happen to you, yeah, you can't move. But the sandstorm will actually fix Clover's state. So, you roughly lose around 5 seconds if you get it. Hope to God you don't get it. But you're just going to run through it. Okay, we got encounter earlier, so we're fine. Now, as for Dune itself, in the sandstorm itself, in casual gameplay, the Dunes sandstorms, the first one is always a 3 cycle. In fact, I can show it off right now. You can only do this room in 3 cycles. Because you have to stop. Yeah, you have to stop here. That's the first cycle. Second cycle is here. And then third cycle is one for the rip. And then you can just make it out if you hold down and go down here. That is the standard 3 cycle. With early bag, because we are auto walking and running at the same time, you can actually 2 cycle this room. And 2 cycling this room saves 4 seconds. First cycle is actually, you can skip this one. You wouldn't have enough speed to clear that, but because we're in early bag, you actually have enough speed to clear it. So, first cycle is actually here. Try to get caught in collision, and then second cycle is like normal. You can also 2 cycle this room in normal, in sound neutral and CPE, but in early bag, it's just a lot easier to do. So I'll try and showcase Sandstorm Cycle as optimally as I can. The hardest part of Sandstorm in early bag is trying to get caught in collision, because that can really fuck you over. Like it did there. But thankfully I just got that in time. Let's try this again. There we are. Perfect. Okay. And that's Sandstorm. Okay. There is a scripted Sir Slither right here. We're just gonna skip it by going through the trigger. Now, funny little thing here. Usually, when you walk through this room, you get a cutscene. You can't skip, and then you just walk through. But in early bag, that was weird. But in early bag, again, ignore the music not going. You can actually bag this trigger and move along like this. Again, a quirky little side effect of doing that skip, it completely cuts out the Dunes music. So, you won't hear the Dunes music for the rest of the run. So, in usual gameplay, when you're running through the Tumbleweed room, you would do this. You would hold down, wait till the very last one, and then go up. Like that. And that's how you dodge it. But remember, with Auto Walk, we can auto walk and run at the same time. So we move naturally faster. Which means you can clear the entire room without needing to do anything. Once you get to here, you want to walk through here and then go around the other side. And now there's a bit of a difference here. Okay. So if you are running neutral and CPE, this room is a little bit different. In neutral, you would just walk past, which I will showcase off. Because remember, like, all the dunes and all that? All the East Mines, you know? All of East Mines, doing all the fucking cart puzzles, watching the long cutscenes, and then fighting our Balador at the end? Yeah, we can skip that. Just go through here, and East Mines is a joke. No more East Mines! Later! Depending on if you're doing neutral or TPE, if you're doing neutral, you can just walk through. If you're doing TPE, you want to grab Steel Buckle. And this is where it gets a bit different. If you do TPE, if you're known for doing TPE casually, you would know that you would money route to get Fancy Holster, which gives you 8 defense. Which means that, for example, for Powered Up Soroba powered up Soroba deals 3 damage per hit, if we're on easy mode. But in this category, we make a sacrifice. We don't money wrap the holster. Instead, we grab Steel Buckle, which is 7 defense, which means powered up Soroba will take 4 damage per hit. But it's a worthy sacrifice because it gets rid of all of the money routing. So for the sake of the guide, I'll grab Steel Buckle for TPE. So you'd walk up, remembering to casual mash, and then walk out. And then you would just skip all these mines. Not a problem. At this point, you're going to run through, and then you're going to skip this encounter by going down and right through here. And now, this cutscene here. Usually, in neutral and TPE, you would not skip this cutscene. Because you need Martlet in your party so the game doesn't crash later on. But we're actually going to do the actual trigger here. We're going to actually skip this cutscene. The trigger is around here. So, like always, you want to run through and then open bag. So you'll be right roughly here. Skip the cutscene and walk through. Now, like I said, we just skipped that cutscene, which again would crash something up later on. But I'll get to that in a minute. Because we skipped that cutscene, again, do yourself a favor. I'm gonna save here for purposes. Don't hit C. Because you'll soft lock. Just don't open your menu. Once you skip that cutscene, you're gonna walk through. This is a very free part of the run. You're just gonna be walking through. If you want to have a bit of fun with it, you can try and time your C press at the end of the cutscene to have a bit of fun. You don't have to. So yeah, we then walk up here. All this is the same. At this point in the run, you would be fucked if you were playing neutral TP, because you haven't got Martlet in your party. So if you went up to this scene, Martlet would start talking, but because Martlet's not here, the game crashes. So, you know, instead of, like, doing all the Starless cutscenes, and then doing all the missions, and getting the revolver, and fighting Feisty 4, and all this bullshit that we have, you know, all this silly stuff that us early bag runners haven't got to worry about. You know, giggle. We're just gonna skip it all. Rock up, and skip everything. And then you want to actually walk up here and get past all this as well. This saves a lot of time. And now, for the final somewhat trick in the run. It isn't really a trick, but I'll explain a lot afterwards. What you want to do is, there's a save point coming up. You want to rock up into transition. You want to rock up upwards from the save. Make sure you hold space. Once you hear the save noise, close the game. Click the second window and hit Z to start again. And then move through the room. I will go back into window capture so you guys can see what I'm doing. Alright. Here's what it looks like. Okay. So that's what you're meant to do. But also be careful. I've messed up here. There's a very high possibility that if you do it too late, Clover can get stuck inside the save point. As you can see, Clover's now stuck in the save point. That is a soft lock. At that point, you have to reset the run. I'm gonna get back to here so I can actually show you guys what it looks like properly. Without this little quirk. So just give me one quick second. Okay, let's try this again without crashing this time. Oops. So yeah, you have to be quick, because there is a chance that if you do it wrong, you can spawn inside the save point and you're just fucked. So be careful to do that. But there is a reason why we're saving here, and I'll get into that in a minute. There you go. That's how you do it optimally. Right there. Perfect. Now, there is a reason why we did this. Because, unfortunately, chat, this is where the early bag segment for neutral and TPE ends. I know, it's such a shame. The reason why we can't have auto walk anymore is because, as of right now, of the time of this guide, it is currently impossible, because of fake Clover shenanigans, to have auto walk past Starlo. Because of a somewhat soft lock with Clover fucking off someone. Which is really unfortunate, because that means we do not get all walk past Steamworks. So everything past this point is identical to neutral and TPE. This is also why I didn't want to go over Geno and or EBG NZW, which stands for Early Bag Geno, No Zenith Warp, because those categories are very different. In EBG, you actually... your last area is Snowden, and in Early Bag No Zenith Warp, you get the auto walk past Steamworks, or past Dunes into Steamworks, because of the Soroba battle replacing Starlo. At this point of the run, you're now good to go. That's everything that has to be talked about with Early Bag. And at this point, you can run Neutral the same and TPE the same. Just keep in mind, like I said, if you're doing TPE, these are the three codes you're gonna need. They will always be the same. Yeah, I hope this guide actually helps. The goal of this guide, really, was to A, cause more awareness for these two categories, because they're really fun. B, to get you guys to learn the categories, because again, I think they're really fun if you get good at them. And C, to venture forward into more categories like EBG and EBG NZW with the core knowledge of EBN, EBCB to get you started. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I can get this guide onto Spearrun.com for everyone to see, which, if I'm on Spearrun.com, hi guys! Good to see you guys on here. I'll be linking the Spearrun.com resources tab in the description of the video, where you can find the early bag save, splits, and everything you need to start running. And also, I'll be leaving the Undertale Yellow speedrunning Discord in the description as well. If you still have issues with this guide, or you still need a bit of help with certain skips or certain events in the game, then come on the Spearrun Discord. It is a vibe. We all are really cool people, and we all help each other out with skips and everything in between. And overall, it's a great place to be at. I've made some amazing friends, for example, from being on that Discord. If you want to come and be a runner for Early Bag, say less. I'll be vibing with you right at your side. I think that's going to do it for me, guys. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.